Tip 1. Learn all the current lineups. Whilst this seems obvious and not worth a spot on this list, I've seen so many trainers on Facebook groups or on Discord ask how to beat a certain leader, and other trainers giving advice not knowing that the lineups have changed several times since the release of Team Rocket in Pokémon Go. This trainer is advising a full team of Machamps to beat Cliff's Shadow Pinsir and says to bring Ice types if there is a Sandslash or a Flygon, both of which are no longer part of Cliff's lineup. At the time of making this video, Arlo's lead Pokemon is Mawile, Cliff's is Pinsir and Sierra's is Beldum. If you see differently, then this video is outdated. Previously we had seen the lineups change every couple of months, but because of the COVID-19 situation it looks like we won't have updated lineups for a while. But if you're watching this video at a later date, do look into what Pokemon the Team Rocket leaders can have. Tip 2. Identifying their moves. The most obvious example I can think of that people may struggle with is Giovanni's Persian. Persian is a normal type, so it might seem like a good idea to use a fighting type like Machamp, as that's the only type that deals super effective damage to it. If the Persian has Feint Attack, Machamp will have no problem taking it out, because fighting resists dark type moves. But if the Persian has Scratch as a fast move, it's going to deal very hard hitting neutral damage against your Machamp. You can't know what moves it has until you enter the battle, so it's useful to enter with multiple options that can beat their first Pokemon, depending on what fast moves they have. Tip 3. Taking resisted damage can be better than dealing super effective damage. Using the same example from Tip 2, if Persian is running Scratch, it will tear through Machamp faster than Machamp will tear through it. It can be more advantageous to use Pokemon that resist Persian's fast moves. Steel and Rock types will resist normal type moves, and Ghost types will double resist them. Another example is Mawile with Bite. Whilst Fire and Ground are super effective against the Steel Fairy type, most Ground and Fire types will go down very quickly against Mawile using Bite. In this case it would be better to use a fighting type so you can survive long enough to get off a few charge moves. Tip 4. Understanding the mechanics of Team Rocket battles. One of the most important mechanics of Team Rocket battles, which balances the ridiculous damage output of the Shadow Pokemon, is the ability to pause their fast moves briefly. They will literally do nothing for a short period of time if any of the following happen. If you use a charge move, if they use a charge move, if you switch Pokemon, if your Pokemon faints, or if their Pokemon faints. As a reference, Dragon Breath is a 1-turn move, Mud Shot is a 2-turn move, Snarl is a 3-turn move, and Confusion is a 4-turn move. After you use a charge move or they use a charge move, it will force the Rocket Leader's Pokemon to pause for 4 turns. Switching out your Pokemon will force the Rocket Leader to pause for approximately 6 turns, and if your Pokemon or their Pokemon faint, they will pause for approximately 8 turns. But be careful because it's difficult to count with the weird camera panning after a Pokemon dies, so I'd recommend playing with the sound on. Tip 5. Exploiting these mechanics as much as possible. The easiest way to increase the number of pauses is by using spammy Pokemon. Pokemon with low energy charge moves, usually in the energy range of 35 to 45 energy, combined with high energy gaining fast moves, usually between 3.5 and 4.5 energy per turn. If you don't do much PvP and are perhaps unfamiliar with which moves will fit into these categories, you can visit GamePress, link in the description, to find a list of all the fast moves in the game. You can sort fast moves by damage, energy, damage per turn, energy per turn, and number of turns, and even select which typing you want. For Team Rocket battles we'll want to sort fast moves by energy per turn. In general, the best fast moves to use are 4 energy per turn and above, with the exception of Counter at 3.5, because it's the most balanced fast move in the game when taking into account both energy per turn and damage per turn. You can also select charge moves and sort by energy to see which charge moves are the lowest energy. You can click on any of the moves to see which Pokemon can learn them. As well as using spammy Pokemon, one extra thing you can do to exploit the pauses is to switch right at the start of the battle. Don't enter the battle with the Pokemon you want to use to take out their first Pokemon, but instead switch into it after using a fast move or 2. Tip 6. Using stat buff / debuffing moves when shields are up. The most common stat buffing move people use in Team Rocket battles is Power Up Punch. It's a 35 energy charge move, deals minimal damage but increases your attack by 1 stage. This is the perfect move to use when shields are up because it won't do any damage anyway. Fell Stinger also has the same ability. Bubble Beam is a 40 energy move and reduces the opponent's attack by 1 stage. There are other low energy moves that have a chance to increase or decrease stats, including Muddy Water, Night Slash and Ancient Power. Tip 7. Undercharging a charge move to gain more energy. Going back to tips 4 and 5, if we know that their Pokemon is going to pause after we use a charge move, we can undercharge a move that would normally KO their Pokemon so that we can get a few fast moves in to KO before they start attacking. This is extremely useful if you're trying some sort of unique challenge where you need to be really efficient with your energy. Tip 8. Overfarming in a matchup when possible. If you are into PvP, you'll probably be familiar with overfarming before you hit a charge move, when you can hit a charge move early but you hold off so that you can gain more energy. In some Team Rocket battles, their fast moves might be dealing almost no damage, and in cases like this you want to gain as much energy as you can before moving on to the next Pokemon, because it might be that the next Pokemon will KO you with just the one fast move. Tip 9. 3 and 4 turn fast moves can be exploited, and 1 turn moves are OP. In PvP, damage is dealt towards the end of a fast move, so the longer the duration of the fast move, the later the damage will be applied. You can hit a charge move before the opponent's confusion animation is finished, and the confusion damage will go through after the charge move. In Team Rocket battles, however, if you cut that animation short, no damage will be dealt. What this means is against Pokemon using a 3-turn move, instead of getting 4 free turns after using a charge move, you can squeeze in a 5th if you're using a 1-turn move like Fury Cutter before you use a charge move. If you do this successfully, you will see their fast move hit you when the game pans to your Pokemon. This can make a huge difference. This isn't limited to gaining extra fast moves between charge moves, but anytime they're using a fast move, you can time your charge move just right so that you cut the animation short. Similarly, against a 4-turn fast move you can squeeze in 2 extra turns, meaning a total of 6 turns between charge moves, or 6 Fury Cutters, or 3 Mud Shots, or 2 Snarls between each move. Tip 10. 3-turn fast moves are inconsistent. Most of the mechanics in Team Rocket battles are fairly smooth, but the biggest inconsistencies revolve around 3-turn fast moves. As mentioned in Tip 9, you can cut fast moves short and squeeze in an extra turn or 2 if they are using 3 or 4-turn fast moves. Occasionally against a Pokemon using a 3-turn move, after using a charge move, your Pokemon's fast move will have a faster animation, and it means you can squeeze in 1 extra turn. This makes it virtually the same as battling against a 4-turn fast move, and you can squeeze in 3 Mud Shots or 2 Snarls. As far as I'm aware, there isn't anything you can do to guarantee that this happens, but many of the challenge videos I've made depend on this happening, so it can be frustrating when it doesn't occur. The second inconsistency is related to the first, but when your Pokemon is also using a 3-turn move, occasionally the first move after a charge move doesn't register. The animation still happens and is usually sped up, but the move does not do any damage and no energy is gained towards your charge move. This is also really frustrating and is something you should be aware of. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more Team Rocket videos. Let me know in the comments if you have any other tips for taking on Team Rocket.